Mishnah in Avot says, "Chachamim tizaru b'divrechem." Chachamim, you must be careful with your words, so your students do not end up in Gehenom. Now, this we actually had a whole 3-hour shiur about this Mishnah, maybe even longer. There's a few different commentaries on it. On one hand, it actually means that you have to be careful with the words that you choose and not be like some of the Chachamim that didn't explain themselves properly, and the students ended up becoming heretics because of it. Like Antigonos, Ish Socho, he said a few things, and a couple of his students didn't understand them properly, and they ended up becoming heretics, the Sadducees and Badducees. They both became, they thought, because he says that you should serve Hashem without expecting a reward, they thought that there's no reward for mitzvot, so they said, okay, might as well not serve Hashem and serve something else, and so on and so forth. So the Mishnah says you have to be careful, you have to explain yourself very detailed, don't assume that people understand you, don't use things, a language that's above and beyond the crowd, and be very, very clear. There was a guy this guy named Dror Kasuto, that causes a lot of problems for Am Yisrael because he actively makes mistakes, but he knows he makes mistakes, but he doesn't care. But when I first discovered that he makes mistakes, he said something in one of his shiurim, and I contacted him. I told him, you pretty much told people that if the wife doesn't want to go to the mikveh, the husband's still allowed to be with her. This is isur nida, it's karet. He goes, no, I didn't mean that, I meant something else. I said, okay, so Chachamim, you have to tizaru b'divrechem. You have to correct yourself because what you're saying and what people understood, because I heard it myself, is nowhere in what you're telling me that you said. You have to correct yourself. You have to make a whole new shiur correcting yourself. What did he do? He made it worse. Instead of correcting himself, he made it worse. So as a person that doesn't care. And now, unfortunately, there are many people like that, and the reason why they don't care is because they have gava, they have pride, and they always think that they're right, even if they're wrong. So it's very, very important to be clear with what you say, and don't assume that people understand you. You have to pretty much teach everybody as if they don't know anything, from beginning to end. The more clear you are, the better your students will be. The other hand, also, there's a special mitzvah to have clean language. If you notice in the Torah, HaKadosh Baruch Hu speaks in a certain language that's very different than ours. For example, in the entire holy language, there is no word for the male or female member. For the private parts of a male and a private part of a female, there's no word for it in the Hebrew language. The words that you guys may know in your head, that's modern Hebrew. That's not Torah. That's Ben Yehuda made that up 100 years ago. That's not Torah. In Torah, there's no word for the male member. You're going to say, no, Gemara says erva. Erva means nakedness. Doesn't mean male member. We use it to refer to the male member, but it's not that. We use it also to refer to the female member. It's not that though. Why? Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't use dirty language, and in essence, he wants us to learn from that. So when you want to do that, there are a couple of things you need to do. Number one, you need to learn a lot of Torah. A lot. How much is a lot? A lot. Every day, as much as possible. If you have 2 hours a day to learn 2 hours without talking to anybody unless it's Torah. 2 hours straight. No phone, no computer, no TV, no nothing. 2 hours with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You have 4 hours, learn 4 hours. You have 8 hours, learn 8 hours. You have to learn a lot every day. No matter what. Just like you eat every day, you have to learn Torah every day. And the reason why is because the Torah, if you learn serious musar, serious Torah, not just alachot, but actually how to fix your character traits, it softens you. And if it softens you and purifies you, you become disgusted from foul language. You become disgusted from the inappropriate language of the streets. Even though I used to say the F word every 2 seconds on Wall Street, that's the way you talk on Wall Street. In the Torah world, if I say the F word, I may go to hell for a long, long time. Why? That's the way it is. So the point is that as you learn more Torah, it softens your character. Second thing is, you're also going to learn alachot about this specific things of using foul language. Gemara says, someone that uses foul language, even if it was decreed for him to have 70 years of blessings, Hashem gets so upset when someone curses, he can turn all 70 years of blessings into 70 years of curses. Hashem Yerachem. Why? He said the F word one time. That's how bad it is in the eyes of Hashem. Why? Hashem says, it's the opposite of me. So the more a person learns Torah, it softens him, plus he understands there's rules. Third, learn the language. Not just the holy language, but learn the actual language of where you live in. If you live in America, learn English. Don't be a person that lives in America, but still speaking Spanish for 17 years, but you don't know a word of English. Or you speak Hebrew, you're here in America 20 years, you still don't know how to count to 10 in English. You have to learn the language. Take a course, get a book, do something to learn the language, to know how to get around. Most importantly, to know how to use clean words. Know that yes, you can say for intimacy, you can say the S word, which is not a provocative word, but it's not as clean as saying intimacy. Some people say, oh, kosher sex. Oh, it's not a problem, right? People say it's not a big deal. Yeah, it's not a big deal, but technically, if you could say intimacy, it's much cleaner, it's much more appropriate, and people will still understand what you mean. Meaning, if you learn the language, you'll learn which word to use, which word not to use. If you live in Spain, learn Spanish. If you live in, in Zimbabwe, learn the language they speak in Zimbabwe. Wherever you live, learn the language so you know the right vocabulary of how to speak cleanly. Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu is expecting it from you. A lot of people, especially Israelis, come to America, first words they learn are curses. Why? In New York, in the, different things like Kvodo says, the F word every 2 seconds in New York. Saying the S word every 1 second. It's so much so that some of these people go back to Israel and they say it, oh, this is bull this and this is bull that, thinking it's not a big deal. What? It's bull. It's the way. No, in America, that's a curse. That's a curse, what you're saying. It's not. It's foul language. So the point is that you need to learn the language in order to use appropriate language. Sometimes I've made mistakes myself. There's certain things that are appropriate language in one place, but in a different place, it's not appropriate language. For example, one of my students said that, he comes from the South. So in a place that he grew up, one of the words that I used one time was where he comes from, it's inappropriate. But according to where I come from, according to many of the dialects in America, and English in general, it's actually not an inappropriate word. I'm not going to use it just because of his kavodo, for his kavod, but for the rest of the people I can say the word, it's not a problem. But the point being, Rabotai, is that don't use a language you don't need to. Use words appropriately, use your words carefully, and step number 5. And last one, if I counted correctly, last one, choose your word carefully and don't be abrupt. Let the people finish talking before you speak. Listen to the idea and think at least for a couple of seconds before you say what you say. People like to hear themselves talk so much, they don't even let other people talk. They just want to say something. Sometimes people make a comment on the videos that we make without even watching the video. They just decided that this video is going to say such and such because of the title or because of the picture that we chose. They decide they already know the entire video. It's such ridiculousness, but it happens every day to all of us. We don't listen to the other person. We don't let the other person speak. And we don't even let ourselves think. So we say things abruptly to the extent where our emotions take control of things and we lose our minds. We say things out of emotions instead of out of common sense. When you're emotional, you're much more likely to curse. When you're emotional, you're much more likely to yell. When you're emotional, you're much more likely to do things that are inappropriate. So it's very important to take it easy. If you think about what you're going to say for a couple of seconds, the world's not going to end. No, but I need to let him. Okay, 2 seconds is not going to, it's 3 seconds, even 1 minute. It's okay. It's going to be okay. The world is going to be okay if you wait a few seconds and think about your thoughts before you say them. Many times people ask me questions. Sometimes I answer relatively quickly. Sometimes I take a while to answer, even if I know the answer. Why? Because I have to think about it to see if this answer is appropriate for that person. Because it's not always black and white. It's not always allowed, not allowed. Sometimes it's allowed for one person, not allowed for another person. So you have to think, who's this person? What do I know about them? What do I remember about them? And so on and so forth. You have to take your time. You have to be very patient. But if you're going to constantly talk back and forth and think that you're in some type of debate and it's the first one that speak wins, you're going to make a lot of mistakes to the point where you're literally just destroying yourself. It's better you don't talk at all. That's why Kadosh Baruch Hu gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth. Listen double the amount of time that you speak. And by the way, learning English is very, very simple in comparison to learning Hebrew. It's worlds apart. So learning English, you take a little bit of time, 5 minutes a day. After a year or two, you'll be speaking English perfectly well. You may have an accent, but an accent doesn't make it incorrect. You just need to speak appropriate English or whatever other language that you have.